You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network. Subscribe for free on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
It's weird doing an episode of O&R, stakes this high, beginning of June.
First time.
Normally, we're talking about when we cut down to one episode a week.
Or who can throw a football over the river.
Me. But it was a baseball, by the way.
Fair enough.
It's an interesting feeling today. I started kind of thinking about what I want to map out for the GDB tomorrow at Oilersnation.com. And I've never written this one this late before. Western Conference Final. I did it 2 years ago.
Or this important.
This is a big, big moment for not only all of us that are sitting in this room, the website, Oilers fans at large, nation citizens everywhere. We got a lot to discuss today. Tyler and Liam are not here. They are at Media Day in Sunrise, Florida. Both of them wearing Nike golf shirts, by the way.
They buy them together?
They must have. Maybe a 2-for-1, a BOGO?
First thing I said.
Try them on together.
Who's that?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm here. Boardsy's here.
Aaron
Tyler and
Bornado.
Liam aren't here. So B Team Boardsy comes in like usual.
Thank you.
Come in. Say
Is this your first time on this?
Maybe.
No. I think I've been on ONR for once or twice before. I've been on Real Life once or twice before. I'm the call-in. I'm the bullpen guy.
Everybody needs a bench player.
Buddy.
Got to bring them in.
Right. But the first thing I said to them when I saw them this morning, virtually, of course, he looked good, man. Like, Liam cleans up nice. He looked very, very good.
Even cleaned up the mustache a little bit,
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
That upsets me a little bit because in a situation like this, I feel like they should be having a couple late night cocktails.
I imagine they did.
I think they did.
Then they shouldn't be looking that fresh.
Listen,
Unless they had a couple
we're
AM
Business in the
cocktails.
front, party in the back.
Maybe they had a couple AM
Since
cocktails.
they're down in Florida, a little Bloody Mary to start the day.
I don't see why not.
I don't think either of them drink them.
That's fair.
Tyler's definitely not a Caesar guy.
No,
Both-
definitely not.
Also,
Also-
for its tomato juice.
How great would it be if they just showed up now out of the blue again, because they haven't been covering the media side of things until the Stanley Cup Finals, and then they just show up the morning of their first opportunity and they are just a bag of shit.
Well,
Just stinking like booze.
Well, I'm assuming.
Happy to be
I'm
here.
assuming some of the vets. I'm assuming some of the vets down there are doing the same thing.
Absolutely,
though.
they
The
are.
Pierre LeBruns of the world.
But do
They
you
know
think
they have
Pierre
like
did it
5
in
hours
first
during the day. They're hitting a steakhouse at
I'm pretty sure
night.
they crushed beers with Frank last night.
Yeah, they were
That's
drinking
Caesar
Well, I'd
guy.
like to hope so. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the tradition, the ritual.
On Oilers Nation every day, they were talking about beach Coronas. It's lovely.
Sounds fantastic.
I think they watched the sunset with Frank with beers.
That's
cute.
romantic.
That is
That
romantic.
is.
How could you not be romantic about what's going on right now, though?
I am.
I'm
They-
very romantic. I'm feeling I don't even know how to describe it. Been a long
Dan, you were
time.
doing a good job describing it to me earlier.
It's difficult to articulate, and I think what's so unique for all Oiler fans is we all have our own story, and every single person has a reason as to why this is so damn special to them. And to each person, everybody's feeling a little different today, just because of that story for each individual.
Each individual does absolutely have a different story. So I wrote a couple of just kind of what the fuck is happening pieces at OilersNation.com this past week. And even just kind of going through the comment section, there's a lot of the names that I read in there who have been around the website for a decade plus, and reading some of the stories about went through 2006. I'm a little bit older and I can remember that and thinking, oh, we're going to get back again. And then
A little
now it's
bit
2
older.
decades later
Next year.
somehow.
There's a full-grown adult between then and now.
A lot of life to live through then and now. Like I was like after game 6, we'll get to that eventually, but like after game 6, Rick, we were talking about like we've known each other 12 years now.
And we've never done this.
Never.
I feel spoiled, guys. Just said it to Dan. Like, I'm a lifelong Edmontonian, so I've been on this train for forever. But I feel like I'm kind of cheating the game because this is my second year at Oilers Nation, and we're going to the Cup Final. And I'm aware that this does not happen every year. So I'm really, really trying to drink it in. But I'm like, why can't we come here next year? But the job's not finished, Bagnall.
We
We're not
can
even
and will.
close.
We can and will be back next year.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, we
Game
have
one
that.
first.
4 W's.
4 W's. That's all we are away. That is all we are away. 4 W's. We're going to get to all of it today. We're going to start off, as we always do, with the delicious debate for our friends at Wendy's. Frozen pucks are awesome when they're at the back of the other guy's net, but that doesn't mean you want to eat one. That's why Wendy's only ever uses fresh Canadian beef that's never seen the inside of a freezer in every single one of their burgers. Whether you order a Baconator, Dave Single, a JBC, or all of them together mashed as one mega burger, you'll only ever find fresh, real beef that's real juicy and loaded with fresh toppings. Download the Wendy's app, check out the latest deals, and order a burger that's only job is to be delicious. I'm thinking of heading my trip to the airport tonight, stopping at Wendy's. I'm going to do spicy chicken. I'm going to put that on top of the Baconator. I'm going to put that in a Frosty. I'm going to dunk fries in it. And I'm just going to have the entire menu.
Chase it down with the JVC.
Got him.
Yeah.
What am I?
It's your dessert burger.
Of course.
I have to apologize to Wendy's. I don't think I'll be eating any for the next little while because I really don't have an appetite.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm perpetually nervous.
I was fine until I checked into my flight today.
Mm-hmm.
Then
shit got real.
Then my asshole started falling out of my pants.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we got business to attend to. Wendy's doesn't care about my feelings. They care about feeding me. And I care about delicious debates. Normally, this is Tyler's job, but he's avoiding the grind. He's not. He's on a beach. He is. I'm worried about him. He's very
like, this guy's his work. By the way, work.
He's very pale.
He's got his 17s 3 feet deep in sand.
His 17s. Delicious debate. How big are Tyler's feet?
That was for low
Can't
tides.
confirm. Bird-like, pterodactyl-like.
They're pontoons. The delicious debate for this week for our friends at Wendy's. What makes this a winnable series for the Edmonton Oilers?
Well, you said the question before we started recording, and I said my answer is going to be, I'm just going to slowly list off the numbers of the players.
Go ahead.
This is a really good mic.
Yeah, you're on the Tyler mic.
I know. I'm trying to work here. We've all watched the playoffs. We all watched this whole season. The Oilers went through the two series to begin this year were highly emotional series where the other team they were out for blood. All they wanted was to knock us out. If LA was able to knock us out and lose the next round, they would have been happy. If Vancouver was able to knock us out and lose the next round, they would have been happy. We got through those two highly emotional series. Then we had to line up against the team that everyone said is perhaps the favorite to win the Stanley Cup. This team is deep. And we beat them, and we did not accidentally beat them. We did not sneak past them. We beat them. We choked them out in Game 5 and limited their grade A chances in Game 6, and we beat them. We've gone through each type of series. We've had the physicalness. We've gone through everything that they say that Florida's going to bring to us. We've been through it all. And more often than not, the time we lose in these playoffs have been when we shoot ourselves in the foot. If we keep that gun pointed away from our feet, we should be able to win this series.
Nation, what do you got?
My reason that the Edmonton Oilers are going to win the Stanley Cup, is that the question we're asking? It's because they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I know that that's just kind of a casual, lazy answer to give, but I just, in the 7 years that I've been at this company since 2006 and even during 2006, I really just feel like it's a lot of question marks until you get to that cup final. And then it's just anybody's game. It could be Florida's, it could be Edmonton's. But Edmonton has the greatest player in the world. Edmonton has arguably one of the greatest players in the playoffs right now, and that's Evan Bouchard. I'm not even talking about Leon Draisaitl, who I think still has more to give and more to come. So, yes, the Florida Panthers are a good hockey team. Yes, they were there last year, but I really just think that mentality that Connor and Leon outwardly brought to this season, which is not a couple of guys that will say anything to just say it. They said cup or bust. And here we are. We have one team left in front of us. There's no more question marks of, will it be the Rangers? Will it be the Stars? It's the Edmonton Oilers versus the Florida Panthers. And this team is winning the cup this year.
Aaron, what do you got?
I like you said it. They're in it for a reason. You obviously had to go through years of turmoil to do it, but they're playing their best hockey possible right now. And I've done this all season. I've watched every single game and had to do the post-game show. What they're doing right now is it's all cooking. The power play, You know what you're going to get. Even they went 0 for 6 for the first couple of games in that series. You knew it was coming. Boom, there it is. The PK is at legendary status we've never seen before. Stu, he's gotten his bad starts out of the way. He's rolling right now. The depth is showing up. You're having arguments of, are we sitting out 20 goal scorer Warren Fogle? This Oilers team, other people in other markets can be surprised. Panthers in 4, Panthers in 5, whatever the hell they want to say. I'm not surprised we're here. You can give me betting underdog too. I will take that smiling. And oh yeah, we have the 2 best players in the series, and specifically Connor McDavid. The one argument I'm getting so tired of hearing is that, that Alexander Barkov, he's going to be tough for Connor McDavid. And yes, I agree. He's probably the best 2-way center in the league. And they're like, hey, Connor, he's never seen anything like that. What about the flip side of this argument that Alex Barkov has not seen anything like Connor McDavid? Mika Zibanejad, you're a good player. You are not Connor McDavid. They keep flipping it, saying that Connor's going to have to deal with him. And I say, well, Barkov, you're going to have to upgrade to a whole new level. Because once again, it's not even just 97. It's 93. It's 18. It's Evan Bouchard who's on the ice with him the vast majority of the time. And I'm getting so sick of hearing this Barkov D 2-way forward. And he's good. Do not get me wrong. Might even be the best. But Connor McDavid is the best for a reason.
I mean, I just like what you said, Aaron. It's funny to read what everyone else is saying. The noise is what I've been calling it everywhere because, yeah, Sasha Barkov, hell of a player, hell of a shutdown centerman, one of the best there is, kind of took the torch from Patrice Bergeron when he retired. I get it. But you said it. The 3 series the Panthers have played so far, none of them had Connor McDavid. And none of them had the second guy over the boards as number 29 in Warlord mode. And none of them had the first defenseman ever to hit 20 points after 2 rounds. They just didn't have it.
Yet all you hear is Florida this, Florida that, Florida this,
good.
Florida that.
I love it because another reason I love it
annoys the hell out of me on one side, but the other side, where you're coming from, is yes, I enjoy it. Watch them, put them under the microscope.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend we're nothing.
Expectations are all on them.
Don't forget, we're the 8th ranked team here. We're the 16th in the playoffs. Like, we're the last. We barely got in by the skin of our teeth. We don't deserve to be here.
Dallas was supposed to sweep us.
Please, please, please keep all your eyes on Florida.
What I said on Better Late Than Never this week was just tell me again what they can't do. What? Let me see. Let me hear it. Because I personally like the underdog thing. And I would bet all of Jason Gregor's money that Connor and Leon do as well. It feeds the bear. It feeds the darkness in there. And
there's no way they did not wallpaper the inside of that plane with all the articles out there about what Florida's going to do, how good Florida is. And they don't mention the Oilers to like the 7th paragraph.
Listen, Florida is a great team. They're a hell of a team. And to me, they're going to be the biggest challenge the Oilers have faced so far in the playoffs. But I also say that's the exact same thing on the other side of the coin.
Complete flip to the Panthers.
So when it comes to the delicious debate for Wendy's, why is this a winnable series? Another angle I want to look at too is the adjustments Kris Knoblauch has made throughout the playoffs have been masterful. Our guy, you can say whatever you want about the experience difference between he and Maurice. Kris Knoblauch to this point has shown that he is a tactician with his game plans. And I'm guessing, I know, he's probably drawn up all kinds of shit for Florida that the boys are going to go out there and execute that that people haven't seen happening. Because I see a lot of people really reading into the line combos today, a lot of just, the day before it starts, reading into everything. But against Dallas, he found ways to defend their biggest strength, which was flying the zone and looking for the odd man rushes. People always said, "Oh, you gotta." I was in Dallas for Game 1, and Tyler was doing a great interview with John Goyens on Oilers Nation every day, and he was just being like, "Well, how do the Oilers defend them flying the zone like that?" They did. How do you handle Vancouver's physicality? They did. How do you handle LA choking them out with the 1-3-1? They did. So I think that Kris Knoblauch also deserves a ton of credit for the way that he's been able to draw up game plans to counter the opponents using what he has to the best of their abilities.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited. Is there anything else that sticks out to you guys that just like reasons why this is a winnable series for the Oilers?
I don't think that the the goaltender gap is as large as everybody once again in the mainstream media wants to make it sound like.
2 years ago, was he not the worst contract in the league?
Hey, you until
Everyone's forgot about this, right? Because last year they walked into the playoffs as a 1A, 1B, and they went back and forth between the two of them. No.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, we're gonna pretend that never happened and just assume he's the greatest goaltender on earth.
And do not get me wrong. I understand if there is a benefit of the doubt, you're giving it to Bob. He's proven. I think he has 2 Vezinas. Yep. He went to the Cup Final a year before. Also, check out his numbers in the Cup Final last season. But Skinner, I get it. What he's done in these playoffs, he doesn't have the best numbers. But if I'm looking objectively like I am right now with what he's been cooking up lately, dude, he's as good, if not better, as Sergei Bobrovsky has been. And I feel confident in him. As a guy who's followed Stu his whole career, he's been able to show up in the big moments, which is why I've been such a believer and proprietor of him during his playoff struggles. So it's nice to see. I just don't think the gap is as large as everybody makes it out to be. I mean, Stu has shown the ability to steal games. So has Bob. We'll see who does it in the 7 games.
To your point, Aaron, Stu's got a 920 since the Calvin Pickard reset. Bobrovsky's got a 908. Like, sure, better number overall. But like, let's not pretend a 908 is an unbeatable foe.
Well,
especially when you have an offense like the Oilers, the highest scoring offense in the playoffs.
And the best special teams.
The best special team
that I think is. Has anyone ever done 131% at this point? I don't know how you're going to look for that, but I believe that's what we're at is 131%. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Those two added together, 93 plus 37.
The Stars went -1 for 14 on the power play.
Sorry?
Last round. Yeah. The Stars went -1 for 14.
Yes,
on
they
the power
did.
play last
round. We've not.
Shut up, Brownmark.
We've done a very good job 4-on-5. We've done a very good job 5-on-4. Do a very good job 5-on-5. We have every chance to win this series.
It's just that cliche thing you see, and it's cliche for a reason in sports. You have to be playing your best hockey at the right time. We've seen it in so many other sports. I'm a Patriots fan. I always think of the New York Giants.
Sorry about that.
Sucked all season. They get hot in the playoffs. That's all that matters. And I argue right now, what part of the Oilers game is not rolling and is not clicking right now?
And also just the way they're winning games. Everybody says the Oilers are a 5-4 team. Well, that just hasn't been the case. Game 6 against Dallas, they had the fewest shots on goal in a win in the playoffs. Fine. But you know who stood up? Stu.
Everybody stood. Look who was on the ice in that last 3 minutes.
Of course.
Broberg was out there. The fourth line was out there. Everyone's getting ice time. Everyone's getting important ice time.
Cross-eyed at that point.
Yeah,
that's fair.
You're passing out.
Yeah.
God, I loved it.
This is the greatest day of ever.
Greatest day of your life so far.
So far. Another thing I want to bring up here, fellas, is that on YouTube, I love YouTube's greatest website on earth. I rewatched the condensed final from last year. And I think one thing, so we'll just jump into some keys to victory here. One thing that the Oilers need to do is exactly what the Golden Knights did last year. Ignore the Panthers trying to throw them off their game. I think about the series against Boston, where they were annoying Boston so much to the point where David Pastrnak goes, I want to fight, drops the mitts, gets beat up. You can't be getting sucked into that because that's exactly what Paul Maurice wants his guys to do. Get the Oilers off their game. And when I was watching those, they're abridged versions of the game, obviously. But when I'm watching that, the thing that stuck out to me was just how Vegas ignored it all.
We have not really bit into any of that stuff here in the postseason.
And I think that you can give some credit to the Edmonton Oilers for helping Vegas learn that lesson earlier in the playoff rounds against us.
Yeah, probably.
They get into the shit with Evander Kane and it got them off their game and it had the Oilers in it. When they really, when you look at that team and you look at the effort and the finality of that series, probably didn't have any business being where they were against them in game 6. So, yeah, I agree with you, Bag Milk. And I think that the big thing, and it comes back to what we said about Knoblauch earlier, is he's all about the adjustments and he's all about that counter punch. Mm-hmm. He lets the other team show him what they're planning to do. And then he's going to respond to that and adjust to that. And I do think that the Florida Panthers will come out and punch us in the mouth in game 1. Yep. Will the Oilers respond to that? I don't know. I think that this team is smarter and wiser and knows that their penalty kill will get them through some things, but that they can click on these power plays. So, you're going to go out and punish a Matthew Tkachuk team that way, just like you did the Calgary Flames and Matthew Tkachuk previously. I just think that the Florida Panthers got by playing Western Conference hockey in the Eastern Conference this whole time. And now they're playing the Western Conference again. It ain't going to work.
I just think that, like, to your point, Dan, I think that the Oilers aren't going to shy away from the physicality, but I think they're going to do a good job of just ignoring the extras.
Dude, take some minors. Do it. You'll see what happens.
Take the punch for the minor.
Yeah.
Go for it.
And you've said it good, Rick. I think that's something they've done very well all playoffs.
They did it in LA all over.
There wasn't any of it. There just wasn't any of it. I thought in Vancouver, they did a great job of teetering that line. In LA, they were perfect. They let LA take several minor penalties and said, okay, we will destroy you on the power play.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of stuff after the whistle in this series. These are two teams that really don't know each other, don't have that animosity between each other. Florida, Boston do. Us in the West do. Tkachuk has taken that kind of out of his game these days.
I think it's overblown how much.
Yeah. It's not going to be as electric as everyone thinks it is. I don't think. We're not going to push the envelope after the whistle, and neither are they. They've been through this already. They do not want to lose again. They still feel that pain. We know what we're out to do. We're not going to allow anyone in our way to stop us. They're going to go out there and play our game, and it's going to be played between the whistles.
I think Florida's going to try.
I agree. I think the first period is going to be mucky.
They're going to hit, but I don't think you're going to see anything after the whistles and stuff. You won't see.
They're going to try.
It will not. It is not Matt Tkachuk is not Matt Tkachuk of the Flames. It's not him.
But it's Sam Bennett and it's Evan Rodriguez. Well, not Evan Rodriguez, but
Sam Bennett is smaller than that door handle.
But he's the one throwing the elbows. He's the one doing that stuff. So I think that's where they're going to try to get the Oilers off their game. But I also don't think they're going to be successful.
See, and they know that if they do that stuff, 5-on-4 against us is not really. That's in their favor. And I think that's where their coach will keep them. Hey guys, you got to keep this.
Well, to Paul Maurice, there's no way he wants his boys taking penalties.
No,
there's no way. There's no way, which kind of leads me into a tweet by Pierre LeBrun today. The refs for the series.
Easy now, boys. Easy.
John Hebert, Steve Kazari, Dan O'Rourke, and Chris Rooney.
Oh God, no, I'm sorry.
Kazari's terrible.
He is terrible. But Pierre LeBrun's tweet goes, lots of pressure on these four refs when you consider the Oilers power play, major theme in this cup final, where I just go,
but you can
the fucking rule book. That goes both ways
already.
But I think you can look at that both ways though. It's like they have to call the penalties. Like if you're going to, I shouldn't say that. If you're going to try and game management the way if you're going to try and Tim Peel it, then it's going to be under the watchful eye. Everyone's going to see it. Everyone's going to know about it. You're not going to be able to hide it. You have to call it down the middle, even though Edmonton's power play is as electric as it is. And you know what? I'm not worried because our PK has been phenomenal and they're not holding on for your dear life. They are out there. They are actually running the play in our own end. They are calling the shots.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive.
Let's get to some keys to victory then, because you're already walking through some of them, Dan. I want to start with you down at the end of the line here. So keys to victory, we already talked a little. PK's got to be good again. And they were perfect against Dallas. I don't necessarily expect them to be perfect against Florida, but as close to as possible, that's got to be one of them.
For me, it's Stuart Skinner, and we've kind of kept this theme going the entire playoffs. I think he was great towards the end of that Dallas series. Mm-hmm. He just has to continue to be good, in my opinion, to be able to beat this beat this Florida Panthers team and Sergei Bobrovsky. Just be good. Don't have to be great. Just be good. And he was great against the Dallas Stars. So if we get that, why not?
It's another one of those things too, where going into the series against Dallas, you look at the goaltending matchup and go, oh, well, Ottinger. Stu outdueled him. And were there speed bumps along the way? Sure. You know, the winning goal in game 3, I didn't like it. But at the same point, Stuart Skinner is the kind of guy who goes up, he goes, I need to stop that. I'll be better. And then he was.
Is that the one that's tucked in the side?
Yeah.
You see, I know you're supposed to blame the player, but that's just like the system he plays. And whoever says it's
the DVS or whatever. RVH.
Yeah.
The VCR.
VW something. I don't know. VW something.
3 letters can we go?
The DVD.
It was... I put it more on that. I put it more on that than anything else. If that's the system he's playing, there are minute little holes, and good on whoever it was he found it.
Robert said, "Yeah, the goal scorer's goal."
But again, the accountability I love from Stu. Yeah. I just love him for that.
You know, when he lets in a bad goal, he's go, okay, hand up, and he's shown the ability to lock it down. My key to victory,
Please.
which A, Rick and I just touched feet, so that's a good
Sure.
one
Nice.
for sure.
Mhm.
B, handling the Florida forecheck. We've seen it with the Oilers. I forget what game it was in Dallas, where like 3 of the goals were a result of not getting the puck out of your own end successfully.
Respect the blue lines.
So I want guys that are going to be able to handle the puck. So it's dealing with that forecheck and that physicality. You know you're going to be shoulder checking. You know you're going to get drilled when you're dealing with that puck. So I guess a question I have maybe to the group, Vinny or Broberg for that same situation. I think Broberg handles the puck better and can get it out of your zone maybe. But I don't know. Vinny's he's been a staple of this unit so far. Rick, let me ask you that.
I wonder why I do
Yeah.
it first.
Yeah.
Game one, I stick with the same 6 you had. I agree with everything you just said about Broberg. If you're gonna put 73 in, I think he goes in for a different right-handed shot defenseman.
I actually think you're going to see both guys in the series.
It's gonna depend on how game one goes. If game one goes the way that game one in Vancouver should have gone, except for that 23 minutes without the shot type
Didn't
of thing.
happen.
We don't
If
talk
that
about
first period is extended through 3 periods, and that's the type of game we get in game one, you're going to see 86 in there again. And there's no denying, man. This is his opportunity right now, and he's taking it. And this game and what we need just kind of matches his game a little bit better.
What do you got for a key to victory?
It's gonna be you gotta win 5-on-5. You gotta win 5-on-5. The power play and the PK, you can hope for it to keep running the same, and if it does, wow. But you need to go out there and win this 5-on-5. Everyone says you can't win this 5-on-5. Everybody says you can only win this 5-on-4. Go out there, prove to them, prove to everybody in this world that we are the best team in the NHL right now. Leon said it the other day. I've been saying it for the entire season. When we are our best, very few teams can beat us. And if they are going to beat us, they're going to have to be at their ultimate best as well.
I think a key to victory for me is one, respect the blue lines. Aaron talked about those clears that led to 3 goals again.
The one thing you say about respect the blue lines there is I was watching the Rangers Florida, and maybe it was somebody breaking it down afterwards, might have been Whitney. The Rangers kept trying to walk the puck in themselves. So the Panthers would line up 3 or 4 guys along the blue line, and the Rangers would try and enter on their own, controlling the puck. We don't do that.
No.
We watch Connor McDavid come down on a 3-on-2 sometimes and still dump it in. And I go, damn it. But that's what they do. That's their system. They go in there. Florida has not played this system before, or at least not last round. They didn't have a team dumping the puck in past their defenseman and going to get it.
Even on zone entries.
And they didn't
like
have
that,
anybody as fast as us either.
Well, that is true. Even on zone entries like that, I think that I would not be surprised at all if Kris Knoblauch has a couple of different looks. If they're going to stack up the blue line, the chip and chase, that's going to happen. If they try to sit back and be more kind of a zone defense in that situation, they'll just carry it right in. They've got players who can port the puck through the neutral zone, no problem. So I think that the Oilers actually will line up really well there. For me, though, you can't give up turnovers at the blue lines. If you're going to clear it out, it has to fucking come out. Like that one game 3, where they had the 3 in a row, Nuge was right there at the blue line. Have to get that out. There was one that got zipped up down the middle. Jamie Benn stopped it at the blue line, ends up in the back of the net. As the Oilers adjusted over the next handful of games, though, they weren't throwing it up the middle anymore. It was the old steady Steve Staios, out and out.
Off the glass and out.
Glass it out, baby.
There's nothing wrong with glass.
Make sure you hit that glass.
Make sure
Yes,
you hit the
please.
glass. Please. But I think that's another one. And then the biggest one of all for me is look at the last 2 rounds. Game 1 against Vancouver, the Oilers had a 3-goal lead, blew it and lost. Game 3 against Dallas, they had a 2-goal lead after 20 minutes, blew it and lost. You can't gift Florida wins like that. You have to find a way to extend, put your foot on their throat, and crush them out. Don't give them any unearned looks.
Just the way you did in games 5 and 6.
Exactly. If you play
Maybe
like
more
that,
like 5 than 6.
maybe also I'll add in the last 50 minutes of game 4.
Yeah.
If you play like that, they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine, and we should all be feeling really good about it. Any other keys to victory before we move on?
Outscore them.
Well, that's a big one. Listen, hang on. I got to check the math on that.
I got one.
Yep.
Evander Kane playing like Evander Kane playoff pest. He's been good in these playoffs. Do not get me wrong. And maybe it was just because the Dallas series didn't require it as much, but I felt like I didn't see enough pest after whistle. Maybe he tired himself out.
I want to see 2 years ago Kane come out for
Yeah,
whistle.
where's our
right.
playoff Hattie?
And so there's going to be the same aspect of the Matthew Tkachuk, but he mentioned himself that he's not much of a pest as much in his game. It's still in his blood. I know it will.
You
come
know
out.
he is playing that down.
But I want to fight fire with fire. Kane and Tkachuk. If you're going to do it, I need Kaner to be at that level. I know he can. I know he's been banged up, hasn't been practicing. He did skate today and practice today, but he's going to be an X factor for me big time if he can be what we know he can be, which is a dick to play a game.
Do you play the worm?
Yeah, he's playing tomorrow.
To start, yes.
Yeah.
Because I think he could be a big part of this too.
I think that if we're talking about being annoying after whistles and getting people off their game, they've got a future Hall of Famer that he's built a career.
My asterisk,
Right before the whistle, not after the whistle.
my asterisk with Perry, it has to be in the bottom six.
100%.
For the love of God. And while I know we all were like, I can't believe every one of us doubted the McLeod dry Perry thing.
That line works for a game.
I know, and it immediately scored a goal. That I said it even after it worked. I'm like, I love it. I love being wrong. Hand up, accountability. But that cannot be a long-term solution. And I think it's wearing out its time. But hey, in the bottom six, Corey Perry, the worm.
I like how you can place him anywhere for a little bit.
I've got.
I know we don't want to put him up in one, but you can plunk him anywhere.
Start every period.
And it just throws the other team off a little bit.
I've gotten to the point where if Kris Knoblauch wants to fucking go no goalie, six skaters,
let's go.
Whatever, let's do it.
Yeah.
Blind faith.
So, and far enough, obviously everyone saw the deep pair today. Everybody knows there's one deep pair out there that the world wants to take a poop on. However, based on what you just said, I think we have to go. And game one, you want to put those two together?
If he wants it, I want it.
Then that's what we're going to do.
I think for game one, I probably wouldn't have Perry in myself just because I'm concerned about foot speed still.
Who are you putting in instead?
Bogle?
No, because right now they're both in.
I would
Carrick's out, Gagne's out, Ryan's out.
put in, well,
you say Brown?
But
no, Carrick, Gagne, and Brown. Ryan.
Oh, I liked Carrick a lot.
Carrick, Ryan, yeah. Brown's on 4.
Every time Carrick comes into the lineup, he's good. My concern with Corey Perry is just his speed, and I think that the East, are we saying that this is adjusted and I'm right? No, I'm wrong. So I would have put Carrick in there myself, but that's, again, it's just minutia and it's fine. I'm okay with it. That would have been my opinion there.
I like looking at Janmark, Rico, and Connor Brown as a, for audio listeners, fourth line in quotations, because that as a fourth line is quite skilled, man. Connor Brown's playing his best puck. Rico looks like a savvy playoff veteran, and the janitor, you know what you're getting with that guy.
Listen, we've been pumping Brown Mark up for a while now, and if Tyler was here, I would once again dunk on him for putting Matthias Janmark in Guantanamo Bay.
He's rolling over in his sandcastle right now.
Mm-hmm.
They both sat here. Both of them sat here.
Both of them did.
And tried to get rid of Janmark more than one time.
I'm going to throw handfuls of sand in both of their beds.
Please.
Deal with it.
They don't speak for all of Oilers Nation every day.
No, they
do not.
Even though his name is on it.
Any other keys to victory before we move on to a little bet and talk?
No.
No, I'm good.
Dan, down at the end of the line?
No, I'm great.
Excellent.
Oily bonus.
Oily bonus indeed. Oily bonus indeed, gentlemen. Put your thinking caps on. I got 4 different futures for this series here. I just want to know your thoughts on the bet and if you can guess the odds. The betting segment is brought to you by our friends at Bet365, proud partner of Oilers Nation Radio. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, is never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code Oily Bonus. Aaron, what's the promo code?
Oily bonus.
Thank you.
All capitals.
Thank you. Oily Bonus. So boys, we're going to play a little game here. Guess them odds. Today, I'm going to start off with, where's my betting? Oh, here we go. Oilers, I will give you a hint, but you already knew. Oilers are dogs to win the series. Number 1, do you agree? And number 2, can you guess the odds? Nation Dan.
Of course, I don't agree personally, but I understand the logic of the lowest seed in the playoffs being the underdog. If I had to wager a guess as to what the line would be, I would say they're plus 120.
Aaron?
Plus 105.
Rick?
Plus 130.
Dan nails it right on the head. The Oilers are plus 120 dogs to win the series.
I will take that and run.
Aaron,
with it.
that never happens, by the way. My lines are always wrong. So,
let's go.
yeah, hey.
Next one, we're going to look at series predictions. I, as an example, have Oilers in 6. So I've got every combination you can have for this series. I want to know what your prediction is for the series, and can you guess the odds of hitting it exactly? Reversing the order. Rick, you're up.
Let's go Oilers in 6 and plus 525.
Oilers in 6 and plus 525. Aaron, what do you got?
I'm going to go Oil in 6 is plus 650.
Nation Dan, what do you got?
Okay. This is where I get stupid. I'm assuming I said Oilers in 7. So I'm going to guess, does it go? Is there a chance that it goes a little bit lower? So it's like plus 550? Oilers in 7 plus 550 is my guess.
Once again, Nation Dan has been doing his betting homework.
No
Oilers
way.
in 7 plus 550. Oilers in 6.
That's wild. Dude, that's crazy. I thought, yeah. So was Rick correct too, though?
Oilers in 6 is plus 500.
Oh, okay.
Plus
Plus
525.
500.
Got it.
In case you're wondering, Oilers in 5 plus 750. If the brooms come out, that is plus 1200.
I like all of that. I have Oilers in 6 as well. She plus 120 and that.
Plus 120
right.
for the series win, plus 500 Oilers in 6. All of a sudden, a little sprinkle, and everybody's having a Merry Christmas. Next up, gentlemen, I love these ones too. Bet365 offers you some head-to-heads for goal scorers, and I'm just sticking with the Oily boys. Oily bonus is the promo code, and I'm sticking with the Oily boys. How about this, gentlemen? Leon Draisaitl versus Connor McDavid. Most goals in the Stanley Cup Final between the two of them. I'm going to jump in with Aaron in the middle. Who are you picking as the favorite, and what do you think the odds are?
Leon Draisaitl between those two. So Leon and minus 115.
Nation Dan, what do you got?
I'm going to guess it's Connor, and I'm going to say plus 110.
Rick, head-to-head, Leon versus Connor.
I too am going to go with Connor McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
We've never seen Connor McDavid in this situation yet. When we've seen him back up against the wall,
Never seen Leon.
he comes out and shoots. He comes out shooting. I think
Debunked, right?
I think that's fair. I think you're going to see a different version of Connor in the next 6 games. So let's go with Connor, and that's going to be probably plus 200.
We've got Leon Draisaitl favored in this head-to-head matchup at minus 130. If you pick Connor, you got to pick him.
Oh, wow.
You got to pick him.
That's fair.
Next up, another head-to-head. Why not? Zachary Martin Hyman versus Leon Draisaitl. Zachary Martin Hyman versus Leon Draisaitl. Who is the favorite, and what are the odds?
I would guess it's Zach Hyman, and I'm going to guess he's like minus 310.
Holy moly! I'm going to say it's a tie. I'm going to say it's a soft. They're equal.
Aaron, what do you got?
I'm going to say Zach Hyman plus 110.
I'm going to change mine to 215.
Okay.
Plus or minus 215.
No, can't do it. Hard lanes, card play.
Bet365 in this head-to-head between Zachary Martin Hyman and Leon Draisaitl. Zach Hyman is favored to score more goals in the Stanley Cup Finals between the two. He is currently listed at minus 130. Minus 130.
Went crazy.
There you go. Little bet and talk with the boys here. Anything else just generally that you like? My play here for the series, and I put it down already. I'm just doing straight money lines.
Mm-hmm.
I'm keeping it simple.
This is about the team, not about ourselves, not about hitting our parlays. This is about the team. Money line only.
Manifesting the money line.
Well, I love that. Boardsy's bankroll is about me hitting all my bets. So don't listen to Rick about that. Listen to pregame.
Boardsy's bankroll
1 hour
played
before.
properly with the money line can extremely jump.
It's true. I don't know. What I'm going to go and look at every game that's just been making me money. And there was a low there in the Dallas series. It's Evan Bouchard power play point. It's always like plus 130 around there somewhere. And I mean, come on. The guy is third in the NHL in scoring right now on the best power play ever.
Plus 130. That sounds a lot like the money line. So the odds are the same.
Audio listeners, I hope you can hear me glaring into Rick's skull.
So the odds are the same. However, if Bush scores a point, we can still pull the not W letter. If we win, we pull the W letter.
Hey, you do your betting segment.
I'm just saying.
You want to do yours?
Nation Dan, if you're picking a bet, what do you got?
As the guy that said that Connor McDavid was going to get 100 points the year that everyone laughed.
56
right.
games. That's not happening. There's no
In
chance.
56 games. Or
No
less,
chance.
Did it. I'm picking McDavid to score over 47.5 points at plus.
You want the
2,000.
record.
Yep. And I'm saying it's happening.
Where does he at now?
The record, he's at 30.
31 points.
He's at 31.
16, 17 points?
17
47 points in 18 games is Wayne Gretzky's record.
in
Listen.
7 or less games.
Listen, if he gets 17 points, we are all having a Merry Christmas.
Mhm.
So pound that odds. Let's do it. Plus
I love it.
2,000.
Dan in the weeds. I'm into it.
Like it's
I'm a
doable.
big fan.
Like
The
it's
other
not
side of
not
that,
doable.
the under minus 20,000. Not even joking.
Mhm, I believe.
Listen, if we're getting in the weeds, this is the place to do it. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code Oily Bonus Nation. Dan, the promo code is
Oily bonus.
there you go. Oily bonus. Before we move on to Ask the Idiots, might as well run through what was the line combos at practice today. Sir Robert Stauffer put them out for me, and I'm going to read them as he wrote them. Ryan Nugent Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman staying together as the first unit. Love that. Adjustments on the second line. Vander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Dylan Holloway. Thoughts?
Love it. Reunite them. I love the I call them the dynamic duo, the twin towers of Kane and Holloway, who bring size and speed on a forecheck. It's worked. Hey, let's ride.
Bogle, McLeod, Perry is a third line, or 3A-B, depending on how you look these next two lines.
Yeah, I dig it. I mean, I think that's a line they ran with right off the hop with Corey Perry and them, right?
So, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like both those middle lines. I think those, you've got two centermen and two sets of wingers that can kind of interchange a little bit. And we saw them play the opposite way last round and put them together and see what happens.
If McLeod keeps driving the net like he did there at the end of this, towards the end of the series, we'll be just fine.
Finally, that's why I'm calling it 3A, 3B.
Well, it is.
Janmark, Henrique, Brown. All of a sudden, that is a sneaky good line.
I love that
I
line.
love it.
It is a sneaky good line, that trio.
That fourth line better play 14 minutes a night because I want them out there. They're cooking right now.
They are.
Healthy.
If you put Rico there, the guy can play with anyone.
And the thing about Adam Henrique, too, is outside of the goal he scored in game one against LA, everything he has scored as an Oiler is right on the crease, right there. He is like Zach Hyman light in terms of where he goes to score goals with this team. And I am all for it because I'm guessing there is going to be some Gracie ones coming from the Oilers in the series.
That's a fourth liner right there.
Can you imagine if we somehow get that fourth line re-signed for less than $3 million?
Well,
Adam Henrique's agent is just like shaking his fist at you from wherever he's at.
We can dream. That'd be sweet.
for us too, and for Henrique, he's got this week to get healthier. Like he's been banged up, and
So does
in and out
Kaner.
of the lineup. Yeah, I really just think that it's everything is trending properly for getting the great Adam Henrique that we wanted when we acquired him from the Ducks.
I think Rico and Brown, and shout out to Sean Pang and Neben, said that one right, the Oilersnation writer. He wrote an article months ago about Rico and Brown and the chemistry they had in that World Championship. And maybe I'm just drinking the Kool-Aid too much, but when I'm watching
It is
those
going
two
down
out there,
smooth, though.
I'm like, man, they know where each other are going to be. They both play a similar, I don't know, Brown has just been rolling lately, but I love that as a fourth line, once again, in quotations.
Another thing that our boy Sean Pangs, go follow him on Twitter. He's got a bunch of just
Great
fun
dude.
resources, a lot of really good articles coming as well. He posted a tweet after Game 6 that just started blowing up. Did you guys know before this? Because I didn't know before this. The Oilers brought in one of the world's most respected sports psychologists and meditation coaches, George Mumford. And you go, who's that guy? And who did he work for? Surely he didn't work with any major athletes that have won all kinds of awards. Well,
Mamba.
Job's unfinished.
Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant are two of his most famous
Ever
clients.
heard of them?
And if you know
Once.
anything about how the Oilers Nation staff has been talking throughout this playoffs, job's not finished, job's not done has come out of our mouths about 85 times. And now they've got the guy in the room who helped instill that mentality.
Do you think they meditate on the airplane on the way there?
Fucking rights. Little Mario Kart, little meditation.
No, Mario Kart's on the way back. Meditate on the way there.
Okay. No fun on the way there.
Business.
Well, if you ask Adam Henrique, he's looking for new shows to watch.
Yeah, why is Janmark's the TV guy?
It is interesting that Janmark's a TV guy. MILF Manor 2, boys.
Maybe.
Is it coming?
It's already out. It's great. Filmed in Canada this round. A lot of maple syrup everywhere.
Well, I watched season 1.
Season 2
Don't know if I'm better for it, but I
season
did
2
watch
is better. So, boys, if you're listening to this, I know you are. Milf Manor 2. Filmed in BC.
Yeah, it's got that Canadian aspect to it. I like
It does. And the stereotypical Canadian aspects everywhere. It's very, very funny.
Perfect.
Anyway, to continue from my boy Sean Pangs, George Mumford, his mindfulness coaching has guided NBA teams to 8 championships. 5 with the Los Angeles Lakers, 3 with the Chicago Bulls. And according to all reports, he is desperate to add a 9th championship to his record.
So they signed him to a 7-year contract, and we're about to repeat 40 years ago for the next 7 years.
Ooh,
83, 84 looks a lot like 23, 24. If anyone remembers what happened from 83, 84 to 89, 90.
Kind of burying the lead there too. Didn't even mention the band he made with his sons.
Well, I didn't know very much about it.
What?
Who doesn't love a good folky rock band?
Same guy?
Mhm.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Multi-threat.
Hey, listen, he's got more than one pitch in that arsenal.
I just think it's unreal that they bring him in.
Isn't that a show from the 70s too?
New age of sports. The mental game is huge. Playing goaltender is arguably the toughest job in all of sports. We've seen it with Stu during this playoff run. Clearly, something's different this time around. So shout out back.
What a juxtaposition between the Edmonton Oilers that couldn't, and I'm putting in air quotes there, couldn't hire an English teacher to help Jesse Puljujarvi.
Not true.
I know. I'm
Not
putting it in air
true.
quotes, but that was the narrative back then. That was the argument, the story, whatever. Cut scene 2. Stuart Skinner has the same mental preparedness coach as Kobe Bryant.
So our boy Sean, he tweeted that out. The tweet went everywhere. And George Mumford, obviously, like I just said, he worked with Jordan. He worked with Kobe. So what I went out and did was I rewatched the Redeem Team.
Oh, hell.
When was the last time you guys watched that?
When it came
out.
Because, well, maybe if you're looking for something to kill a couple hours tonight, the Redeem Team, if you've never seen it, go watch what kind of animal Kobe Bryant was.
When he lays out Pau Gasol, like he sets the screen in the
Oh,
championship.
I know exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to go right through.
You're not going to do that. That's your friend.
When the boys are coming
Smacks him.
back from a night out and he's on his way to the gym,
Yeah, before the tournament starts.
if that is the guy who started helping unlock that greatness on the court, I am all for it. And most of all, I love that the Oilers are even just thinking that way.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Jackson, when he came in as the CEO of this organization, he said he wanted the Edmonton Oilers to be best in class. He's starting to walk the walk here.
Be classy.
Putting the dollars where the mouth was.
Listen, there's no
Very
cap
excited.
on support staff. Bring them all in. Bring them all in.
Yeah, true. Good call.
The other thing we've got here before Ask the Idiots is I got to ask you guys your thoughts when you saw the Greg Cote quotes. about
Who?
Connor McOverrated.
I went with what Rick said. I said, who?
Before you get to it, hang on. Let me read the quote to refreshen your minds. Because listen, if you're listening to this, you may not have seen it. And I want to see Rick's face.
Here's a
red.
paper cut. Let's put some lemon in it. Just make sure you still know it's there.
Hey,
All right, thank you.
you don't think this thing is up on the bulletin board?
Oh, I hope so.
Connor McDavid is overrated. Boom. He puts up big numbers, impressive stats. Yes, fine. But should he really be called generational, called the best player in the world when in 9 seasons he has yet to lead his team to a Stanley Cup? Edmonton truly had one of those players. His name was Wayne Gretzky. That's why the Oilers bunched 5 Stanley Cup wins together in 1984, 1990. Interesting note. If you're going to shit talk, make sure your stats are right. I continue. McDavid, no Gretzky. He has the requisite names, McJesus, the chosen one, but he has not proven beyond stats to be transcendent, able to lift the franchise to the ultimate heights. He is McOverrated. Later in the article, he went on to misspell Leon Draisaitl's name.
What a surprise.
He also got it wrong that Wayne Gretzky won 5 cups with the Oilers.
Idiot.
I just wanted your
A
thoughts.
simple fact.
I just like watching Rick get angry.
I got angry during that too.
I really want to know what his thoughts are on Dan Marino then. Because Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and has 0 rings. Some people like to put that as a thing. And a lot of people say that's stupid. It is not basketball. It takes more than a superstar to win.
Marino overrated.
These guys are out there for 23, 25 minutes a game. In the NBA, you're out there, your stars are out there for the full thing sometimes. It is not the same thing. You will not find one person who can skate, one person who's played a minute of regular hockey, one person who's played in the NHL or any type of pro hockey that will agree that because Connor has no Stanley Cup ring yet, that he is not generational or some sort of version of overrated. This was stupid. And I think he just he wants attention. This is the typical 2024 person out there right now who's willing to say anything just so they get attention. Congratulations, you got your attention. This entire country knows your name now. We could not put your name to your face if you had held a gun to our heads.
He's an old man.
And we're not going to give a shit on this. You are irrelevant. And we probably will never hear your voice or your words ever again.
I don't know, Rick. What was the name again? Sorry, Bag
You can
Milk.
follow that if you want.
I don't know. What was the name again? Bag Milk. I don't know it offhand.
Greg Cote.
I'm kind of with him here. I think that the greatest player of our time is, in fact, Patrick Maroon.
Oh, yes.
Because the guy just keeps
Back to back
racking
to
up
back.
championships back to back to back. And it's really interesting and big of a Florida Panthers beat writer to.
I want to know if he's even a Panther.
Well, I don't think
I'm guessing he covers basketball.
He's always on the Dan Lebitard show, and they don't talk hockey. So
Let's just
Dan
kind of-
Lebitard, please allow me on your show with this fool and let's have a chat.
I want to, I'm going to do an impromptu here because I just got a little piece of audio cut where I see an Oilers Nation microphone flash right in front of Leon Draisaitl's face. So I'm going to see how this sounds. And if it sounds like shit, I'll just stop it. All right. Let's see what Tyler Yaremchuk asked Leon Draisaitl.
Clip of you in the locker room saying windows down, elbows out. Is that a thing or is that just a once off the cuff?
I'll keep that in the dressing room. Thanks. Sorry.
I love that quote too, by the way.
I drove here. Windows down, elbows out. Film like Leon.
Listen, I don't know where these quotes are coming from or where they're pulling them out of, but I'm all in. I am all in. I'm both opening all four windows in the whip, and I've got my elbows out all of them somehow. Steering with my feet.
Dude, I did the dumbest thing ever the other day. I have did have two car flags. Guess where this is going?
You open the window and the car flag went.
Yeah. So my driver's side window, sometimes it just won't go down. I have to turn the car off, turn it back on. I'm just not thinking. And I'm like, well, let's see if the other one works. And I'm on the literal Hyundai going 100. And you just poof, look back. The guy behind me, I can see he's laughing. He's like, got his hand up. He's like, oh, you're good. Didn't hit me. So I'm down a flag. If anybody saw that.
My favorite is if you're driving on the Hyundai and you see people with a car flag out, that baby is just, she's toit. She is toit up there.
My wife got frustrated with me last year. I haven't really seen much on the side of the road, but I stopped for like 8 or 9 flags last year just to get them up off the road. Because if you're not on the Hyundai, you got to be able to pull over. It's got to be safe and not killing anybody or risking your own life for it.
Safety
but
first.
If you see a flag on the floor, on the ground, pick that up and give it a safe home. It's like the poppy. Let's respect it. It's our car flags.
Again, Rick brought it up a couple of weeks ago. It was like when Ron McLean went to put the jersey down behind the desk, and Kevin BX said, no. So you're not putting that on the ground.
That's a good move. My argument with Greg Cote, dude, don't even I hate that we even have to talk about it. We did it on Oilers Nation every day because you don't want to give it attention. This is ridiculous. And Rick, you hit it nail on the head. This is not basketball. Hockey is not a sport where one guy can carry to do it. And I'd argue Connor is coming as close as you can to dragging your boys to that championship.
Hey, dumb Cote. There were at least 5 Hall of Famers on those teams. 5 Hall of Famers.
And in 2 weeks, that quote right there, Freezing Cold take Hall of Fame.
I do want to say, and that's the thing, that was one little piece, is that TSN just took this and fucking ran it into
because they know they're going to get clips.
24
they're going to
hours.
get clicks.
And that's, and I get it. But that's the piece where I'm just like, I really could have gone without hearing that guy's opinion.
I think we should take his article and turn it into what LA did with Oiler playing cards.
I don't want to plug the urinals. The line's already long enough at the bathroom. You know?
Yeah.
Or
there you go.
Make his face urinal cakes. There you go.
Ooh.
Delicious and fun. Right? Of course.
Delicious.
Greg,
you heard me.
Urinal cakes.
You heard me. You heard me. I stand by it. The other thing, there's just a couple more things I want to get through here too. Zach Hyman talking about joining the Oilers was the best decision of my life. He said it multiple times this week. And what is Aaron looking at over here? Now you make me nervous.
You're good. You're
okay.
good.
Just a plane coming in real close.
I just love hearing that stuff from Zach Hyman because well, first of all, Toronto, dumb idiots. But once that was gone, he would have had all kinds of options. Looked at the city, came here, talked about touring it with his wife, fell in love with the community, felt he had a chance to win here, felt he could contribute. Now he's playing the best hockey of his life. There's also the clip that went out from Oilers Plus where Matthias Ekholm grabs Ken Holland and says, "Thank you for trading for me." That kind of shit is just right in the old feels.
I'm starting to feel like Matthias Ekholm says that to him every time he sees him.
I would.
And I don't blame him.
I would thank Ken Holland for bringing Matthias Ekholm if I could.
Yeah, where is Ken?
Frank, let him know.
I saw Ken Holland in LA. He's a tiny man. He's a smaller man than I thought he would be.
Yeah, he's not. He was a goaltender from the 70s. They're
no
tiny.
wonder he's out here buzzing around our ankles. We can't get ahead of him. Yeah, he was very Darren Pang, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Anyway.
You also shrink in your old age.
The Hyman Ekholm stuff, just put that in my veins, man. Like, that's just what it's all about. We've wanted this for so long, for guys to want to be here, to play here, to care. And now we finally have a guy who's putting up 50 plus goals. He's got Fernando, 14 goals right now. Ekholm's an absolute stud. Back end of this team, backbone of this team. And they want to be here.
Speaking of things that hook in my veins, all the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins montages that are going out everywhere right now.
Did you see the one today?
Of course I did.
Dude.
The heartbeat of the team, coach's favorite player, just all that stuff. When he was doing I watched Jackie Redmond's interview with him after Game 6. You can't hear a thing. You can't hear a thing. Because it was fantastic.
Why did she have so much surprise in her voice?
About what?
About how good he is. Why is and that tells me something about she's got a very busy life. She can't sit there and watch a lot of hockey. She has a very, very busy life. I get it. But there's a part of the hockey world out there who has the opportunity to watch the Oilers all the time. They choose not to, whether it's too late for them, they got to be in bed, whatever it is, the 10:30 bedtime, I don't know, whatever it is. What Nuge is doing right now is a step up from what we know Nuge to be. However, they're referring to what Nuge is doing now as 4 to 5 steps up from what they know him to be. How many Selke votes did he get this year? I don't know if anyone has it off the top of their head, but he did not win. He did not win the Selke, and I'm not so sure. I don't think he was in the top 3.
Probably not.
But find me now that everyone gets to watch him now. All you're going to do is hear about Nuge and Selke in the same sentence.
Yes. Like
it's some sort of new undiscovered thing. We've seen this. We've been watching this forever. He's been here for at least 30 years now. I'm pretty sure of it. He's been here for 32 years now. We've been watching this forever. Why is it that side of the media is so surprised? That is why we don't have any opportunities to beat Florida, because these people don't actually watch the Oilers.
I just think that winning is that cologne that gets rid of all the
100% it does. 100% it does.
And so,
but before this, they should be out there trying to sell the league, finding the players, spreading the love, watching everything equally so they can cover properly. But it's very, very obvious that there is some sort of Great Wall of China that runs down from like Manitoba directly south that they cannot see. They don't get the internet. They don't get satellite. They don't get anything on our side.
But he just can't have an airport there.
Like, obviously, you can't take off. You can't land that quick.
Feels like he's still the face of the first overall picks that the Oilers racked.
And that's what she actually referred to him as. It's like one of the most underrated first round picks in the league.
Yeah.
And I think that's not unfair, because when people think of the Oilers right now, and a lot of people that discredit this run and say that the Oilers don't deserve to win, is because they racked up the first overall pick.
And what did you say? 0?
I looked through Selke voting this season. 0, not even 1 5th place vote.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And I don't know how anybody on the West Side who actually does watch them did not toss in 1.
Yeah.
For life.
He deserves, whether it's a 5 and a 3 or a 5 and a 4, he deserves some.
But like
he does.
You're talking about the top 5 debate, and it's a debate. Yes, I agree.
No, how long is your list there? Is it only 5?
No, there's everybody. It's up to 37.
So in 30, there's 37 dudes in there who have at least one vote, and he has 0.
Vote, he has 0.
That is absolutely insane.
Connor has 1 fourth place vote.
I like that I just talked about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins tributes, and you went on this.
It happens.
The tone of her voice.
This came up. I watched it the other day, and that's exactly where I went to.
I get exactly what you mean because it's no surprise to us. I'm not frustrated that they've never caught up to this, which is surprising because last year Nuge had 100 points and we went on a good run. I'm just happy he's finally getting his flowers. And as I said, I didn't shed any tears or anything until I saw Nuge put on the hat. And then water just started coming out of my eye. I could not help myself.
I just think when I think of Nuge, like, man, that guy has been through 9 head coaches, the ups and downs, some dreadful teams. And now he's 4 wins away. And I don't really listen to anybody when they talk about players because, like you said, I think a lot of times they don't really watch.
Mm-hmm.
Except when Wayne Gretzky says he's one of the most underrated players on the team. That guy watches. And that guy watches not only because he's the greatest player to ever do it, he's also watching with his heart. Say what you will about Wayner, he's always an Oiler. He's always an Oiler.
Bleeds oil.
It's here, boys. It's been 30 years since the Canadian team has won hockey's ultimate prize, and for some teams, a lot longer than that. What would it take for Canadian hockey fans to set aside their differences and work together to end this drought? Is it their team or nothing? Or could they get behind the rival under the right circumstances? I'm going to say, to quote our boy Ryder from Play 107, we don't care. We don't want you.
Bandwagon. We don't want you.
Bandwagon's full. Mm-hmm. All with people who want to be here, all with people who deserve to be here.
If you're not on by now,
who love this team. What did Tyler's tweet say the other day? I'm going to probably fuck it up a little bit, but if you weren't here at my Corey Potter power play, you don't deserve to be here at my Evan Bouchard power play.
Something like that.
Something like that. Ask the idiots here, boys. You have not seen these questions. I've got 4 for you. They're all fun. They're all cup related. I'm starting with Nation Dan down at the end of the row here. Dan, when did you truly start to believe that the Oilers had a chance to take a run at the Stanley Cup? And don't give me this before the season started nonsense, because we all know how the first 2 months of the season went. When did you truly believe? That comes from Al.
Well, I mean, I think you can listen to this podcast and know that I've been pretty level-headed this entire season, planning for and saying that this team was destined for the Cup Finals. Didn't go any further than that. But I will say that not since the year 2006, right before that Cup run, I spoke to somebody and said the exact same thing I said this season, right before the playoffs started, that I just feel different about this team. I feel like the versatility that they can bring to the table is going to push them over the edge. And here we are. So I'll say I was confident all season, but right before the playoffs started, I really just sunk in and believed that we were going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then that was going to be the first time that I'm stressed.
Aaron, when was the first time you truly believed?
This season, it's the month of January. It was the 16-game win streak. We said earlier on ONE, an 8-game heater would solve all my problems. Well, we got 1, and then we said, hey, let's just double it up and let's do 16. But in there, that's what hurt so much at the beginning of the season, was that we were rolling in the playoffs and at the end of last year's regular season, and we looked so good. It was the same group. It was the same units coming back, but they didn't pick up where they left off. But it felt like during that 16-game win streak, during that run, that was me seeing what I saw at the end of last season going, okay, they all know their roles here. Bouchard's growing into it. That's when Nursey was playing his peak of this entire season. And while Connor maybe wasn't his most healthy and he wasn't leading the league in points, I was like, oh, we're getting scoring from other guys. Warren Fogle is burying goals here and all that. So it was really around there as they started to win consistently. And then we lost to Vegas, but we were with them. And it was pretty much there. I went, okay, we're making the playoffs. And I'm taking Connor McDavid in the playoffs against everyone.
I'm going to jump in because I want Rick's answer last. It was for me the way there was the 8-game win streak, and then we launched the t-shirt, and that was fun. Then they lost 1 or 2 or whatever. And then once the 16 gamers started, they just kept winning in different ways, and they just kept pumping goals in, and they just kept dominating that run. And people were going, oh, they're playing bad teams. And my counter was like, if a 16-game win streak was so easy, your shitty team would have done it.
Boston had the greatest regular season in the world last year. They didn't do a 16-gamer.
The Oilers were doing things in that run up until the All-Star break that were just pure dominance. They were winning the games they had to win. They were winning the tight ones that were in there. They were also beating some quality clubs along the way. So when that started happening, and then we went into the All-Star break, I think probably if you rewound this podcast at that point, that was when Rick and I would be like, 100% guarantee we're in the playoffs. Let's go. Maybe even before that. But that kind of general area is where I thought they were built different. Rick?
Well, Al, you're not going to like my answer because I'm going to give it to exactly what you said not to do. And at the beginning of this season, yes, it got very cloudy and very gray over us.
You watched that building come down.
I did. I just stood out there and watched it. It actually felt nice. It was nice as some sort of art. But the thing about the 2 and 9 or whatever the hell we started, the thing that was so frustrating is a little bit of everything. You couldn't put your finger on this, that, or the other thing. It was a death by 1,000 paper cuts. That was what was so frustrating to me. That is something it needs to be fixed by everybody. You can't just go and make a trade and it's going to fix absolutely everything. Terrible bounces, terrible luck, terrible this, terrible that, bad play. It was a little bit of everything. When we got to Seattle, we were in Seattle for that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 4-0 in that one. I thought you saw a different team there. So I thought, you know what? Woody's safe now. And when we got the phone call the next morning to do an emergency show, I was very surprised. But, and I've said it on, Kennedy, I know you're working on the quote game again, so you can go back and check from this season. I'm pretty sure I've been exactly the same spot the whole time, even with some clouds, that we were going to get it. And it's been that the whole way. So technically my answer is before the start of last season. Because I thought last year we had a Stanley Cup team. We should have won. We shot ourselves in the foot. We brought pretty much the same roster back. Guys got better. We brought in some new pieces, shot ourselves in the foot to start again, figured it out, and here we are.
Check the date of that bet you just showed.
Those bets were,
yeah, the exact date. The second one.
You tell me when the Oilers were last time the Oilers won the Stanley Cup were plus 1,800.
That's when you believe.
That's when I put my money down. That's when I put my money down. So yeah, that's my answer then.
Next question. This one's a real quick one. This one comes in from Dave. Who cried after Game 6 against Dallas? Show of hands. Aaron did. Dan did. Rick?
Oh, I was slicing onions.
I did.
So yes, put your hand up.
I was slicing onions. It was, I don't know, it's a science thing. Yeah.
Did your tear ducts open up?
I was sweating out of my eyeballs. It was very hot where I was.
I did not cry.
Can't admit he's crying.
Stay away from the fourth win and coming up then.
There you go. Job's not done.
Job's not done.
I didn't cry after Game 6. I was in pure chaos mode. If you saw me that night after Game 6, I was just a complete animal. There's no time for crying in the state I was in.
I've seen you in a lot more advanced stages than that.
Yeah, but the hug we shared outside in the bar.
Loved it.
And then the 3-way hug with Jay immediately after. Next one comes in from Blake. This one I'm going to start with Nation Dan because he is the runner of hockey fights. Over under 1.5 fights this series.
It's way under, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm going to unfortunately say the under as well.
Under. I don't think there's going to be a single fight.
Well, I'm going to go with the over just because we're probably going to get up about 6-1 in a game and we'll have 2.
There you go. That'd be great. Hockeyfights.com.
That would be dope.
We will have awesome. It all. And in the meantime, Dan's running series of all kinds of fights on the Instagram page. Go check those out. They're fun.
A lot of Gazdick fights?
No, the second. I'm going to let him cool off for a little bit.
Vancouver fans are just a different thing, aren't
Vancouver fans found one hit where he got laid out that Hockey Fights posted back in like 2019, and oh boy, my mentions were a mess this week.
I could give him one because he went against Smack when he was still a part of the Stars in the preseason that year, and I don't think things went for him all that well.
Don't give them fodder. They don't need any more, Rick. They found one hit. And
well, if you're good, like That's as hard as they're trying. I don't even have a computer in front of me. I could tell you, I don't even know who this guy is. Yeah, because you're not really a hockey fan.
Yeah.
You don't even know who your whole damn team is, especially when they're not winning.
Final question.
Reach.
Ask the idiots for our friends at Boston Pizza. Final question here. I'm going to start with Rick. Actually, you know what? I'm going to jump in first. The question is, now that we're so close to the end, how far ahead do you allow yourself to think? And for me, if you've listened to me anywhere in this building, on any podcast, on any radio appearance, job's not done, game one, that's all I'm thinking about. Rick, you're up.
Please reread the question because I didn't think about my answer. That's my answer.
Now that we're so
close. I couldn't. You read the question. You read the question.
Allow yourself to.
You read the question, and I refuse to listen to the question to thinking that far. I won't even think that far ahead.
Good answer. My answer. It's all about Saturday.
Game one.
It's all about
F1 driver.
I'm trying to get to pre-gaming, and then I'll deal with the game, and then we'll deal with post-game, and then I can assess.
Like an F1 driver right now.
Hey, you're flying 300 kilometers down the track. You only got that right in front of you.
Whatever's in my blinders, that's what I'm in.
Dan, how far ahead are you allowing yourself to think?
This entire playoff run, all I've been saying, anybody ask me if I'm stressed, I say I will save it all for game one of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Anxiety.
So I have been a bag of shit this week.
Mm-hmm.
I did not sleep until about 2:30 in the morning today, and I woke up at 6 a.m. again, and my feet have been burning ever since I woke up.
What's tonight going to be like for
I
you?
don't know, man. I don't know.
Melatonin, buddy. Melatonin.
My stomach is gurgling.
Sleep gummies.
Yeah, melatonin.
Yeah.
A different back.
There you go. Ask the idiots for our friends at Boston Pizza. If you want to get in on the segment next Friday, just slide on into my DMs. The boys don't get a chance to do it. Rick's got to go.
I got to go.
Real quick then, hot and cold performance before you go. Cold performance first.
The Fanatics designs are fucking terrible.
That hat is the
so
worst.
Bad.
And your hot performer?
The Edmonton Oilers. We're in the Stanley Cup Final.
Finally, your game one prediction. I'm not letting you out of here with the score prediction.
5-2 Edmonton.
There he goes. There's Rick. He's got to go to work.
I also have to run.
All right, Dan, let's do it real quick.
Yeah.
We're doing speed round of hot and cold performers for our friends at Great Clips. 4,400 locations throughout the United States and Canada. Great Clips, the world's largest hair salon and official brand. Official hair salon of the NHL. Salons are locally owned and operated and open 7 days a week. Your time is valuable. Use the Great Clips check-in app. See the wait time. Check in on your phone. Get your haircut when you want. For more information, check out greatclips.com. Dan, you got to go. Let's do the same thing. Cold performer first. You always start with your veggies.
Cold performer of the week is going to go out to this 5 or 6 day break that we've had in between. As I just mentioned, my stress is through the roof.
I'm upset.
And your hot performer.
My hot performer of the week is these 6 days that we've had off in between the games, because it's allowed me to, I think Oiler fans in general, to be able to calibrate, take some time to really get ready for this playoff, plan it out. And also hot performer goes out to all those Oiler fans that are no longer with us. Hearing the stories, seeing all of these fans go out of their way to explain what this cup means to them. I've just been loving seeing it. That's why I get emotional. That's why I got so happy that we're in this cup final and we're in this together, whether you're here with us now or you're vibrating into a different wavelength. We are all here. We are all Oiler fans. And we are in the cup fucking finals.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, I've included him in a bunch of tweets and a bunch of articles lately. I'm thinking about our man, Robin Brownlee, for the exact same reason. He's part of the reason we're sitting in this room today.
He's a hot guy.
And
Finally, your score prediction before I let you go.
bad news. I think we lose game 1 3-1 to the Dallas Stars.
Cut that part out.
Yeah, we're just going to edit all
that part out.
Dan did not offer a score
Dan,
prediction.
you got me so fired up with that speech, and then you rip it out of my hands. Just
Okay,
like
we
that.
lose game 1s. We still win series.
Hey, send Kennedy in here because I know she's sitting out here. We might as well finish this off.
I'm still here.
Aaron's still here. We're working through hot and cold performers. We might as well finish off the podcast. We're going to bring Kennedy in here. She's going to join us for a little bit of hot and cold performers here.
I got a hot performer.
Hang on. We start with our veggies here, Aaron.
Yeah, you're right.
We start with our veggies here. I brought Kennedy in as well. Impromptu addition to the end of the podcast because the boys had to go to their job. Aaron, you're up first for our friends at Great Clips. Your cold performer of the week.
My cold performer is just straight up Canucks fans because this shit has gone on way too long, man. This is ridiculous with this Luke Gazdic stuff. You know who you have been. You've been in my YouTube chats in After Darks. You're still doing it when your team's out. You're still being trolls. And hey, that's fine, but he called you a troll. You're a troll. Get over it. There can be bias. I love Tyler's point. I'm like, do we complain that Kevin Bieksa is clearly a homer for the Canucks? No, I like it. Lean into it. I know that you played for the Canucks for years. I know that Gaz played for the Oilers. Play into it. Why is Biz allowed to be a Leafs homer and he can cheer for the Coyotes, but Gazdick can't do this? You're soft. You're soft. You're soft. Get over it.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Kennedy, welcome.
Hello.
We're working through the hot and cold performers for our friends at Great Clips, a cold performer.
Cold performer goes to all the analysts, reporters, comment section saying that they're picking Florida to win this series. Are you kidding me? Be serious. Oilers in 6.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
My cold performer of the week. We talked about it on Tuesday. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but if you see Connor McDavid in public, leave him the fuck alone. That group of jackasses was so embarrassing to watch. And your knockoff jerseys, I don't mind that you have those. You're supporting the team. I like it. But if you see Connor, leave him alone.
Support him from a distance.
Give him a salute. Say, Connor, we're with you.
Go team, go Oilers.
Get out of the back of his vehicle.
Go Oilers. Don't touch him.
Like, it was crazy, man. There's no level of personal space there at all. We don't learn social distancing. But the good point of that,
or manners, common sense,
it's just right. Like that should just be taught.
Be
but
normal human.
The good point of it all is that clearly Connor is showing leadership by buying that much booze for the boys.
Yeah, you know what? The only acceptable answer would have been like, Connor, let me help you with all those flats of beer into the car.
Yeah, they didn't help carry it.
Yeah, but generally leave him alone. He's with Lauren. They're out. They're obviously celebrating. Come on, be better. Be better. Let's wrap up the pot. Let's wrap up Hot and Cold Performers with our desserts. It's way more fun to talk about the hot performers of the week. And I'm going to start. Aaron Bordato, you're up first. Bordsy.
For me, I'm going, as I've been a man of the streets, a man of the people all season long. It is the Edmonton bar scene and bar goers, because it has been, Kennedy, you've been out there with me, soldiering around for all of this.
Oh, yes.
It's just been a dream. I feel like I'm living my own 2006 down at Greta. Of course, shout out always. Mm-hmm. But it's been incredible and how positive it's been. I know you see the videos on Yegwave of dudes fighting here and there. I've been out pretty much every single night. I have not seen a single fight yet in front of me. Anything. All I've done is make friends with absolutely every person around. And a big shout out to the people at the bar staff, right? I always say to Greta, they sacrifice their Oilers game nights to make sure we have a good Oiler game night. And they do a great job of it. And it is a war out there. What are we done now? 6-7 weeks of this stuff is
40 days.
It's tough on the players. It's tough on the people as well. So the party goers of Edmonton and the bar staff of Edmonton.
Woo! Friday, baby. Yeah, let's celebrate Friday. Woo!
The thing with the Yegway fights, and like every now and then that goes, we'll like, see what's happening in Edmonton. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so surprised. Some 21-year-olds got drunk and fought each other.
Do you know what?
I've never seen that before.
It could be the dead of winter that's happening. Okay. Like,
I was like, oh my Lord, I've never seen such a thing. Kennedy, our friends at Great Clips, you're a hot performer of the week.
Hot performer, honestly, just Oilers fans in general. It is so fun high-fiving everybody on the streets, the horns honking. Flags everywhere. This city is alive. It's electric. I love every second of it. Let's keep
pour it on. You gotta get pour it on. Also, honorary hot performer Jack Michaels, your call for the last minute of Game 6.
Oh,
I've listened to it probably 15 times now. It will still give me a heart attack.
And like when the whole internet is saying, bring this guy back.
Agreed.
Can you not just listen and be like, hey, maybe we should bring this guy back?
Yeah, maybe.
Should.
For me, easy hot performer. Can't believe it is left on the board. The gray windsuit. The gray suit that Connor McDavid has worn every single night for the last 3 wins, and he is wearing it today.
I love it.
Connor McDavid's gray windsuit. Now, Biz asked him if he's changes his undies and socks. He goes, that's up to you to decide. I say yes. I like that he upgraded to a real belt as well. Instead of the string?
I
would go with an extension cord.
Extension cord. Like Homer Simpson,
bungee cord?
Yeah, I like it. We got game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final coming up tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Mountain. We're going to wrap up the podcast here. Kennedy, you're up. What's your score prediction?
4-2.
We got a 4-2 win coming from me too. Boardsy.
4-2 Edmonton Oilers, one of which is an empty net goal, and I'll go one way further. Anytime goal scorer, Evander Kane.
Love that. Anytime goal scorer, Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Let's go. A big couple of weeks coming up, everybody. Try and get some sleep tonight. Try and get some rest because you're not doing jack shit other than watching the Oilers for the next 2 weeks. Have a great weekend, everybody.